Do you know what you're going to write and perform next?
Well, I've started on, I'm at the stage where I'm not entirely sure if it's a good idea saying it out loud yet, but I did a week's development on a new idea. I've gotten really fascinated by islands and tax havens. That thing of people trying to separate from society and make up sort of an artificial world with its artificial rules, and ultimately, is that sustainable, viable, healthy? Having thought this was totally different to mess, I then sort of sit down, look at the set and think about what anorexia does. And I was like, oh, yeah. Anyway, so maybe just have one idea that I will repeat endlessly. It was a really exciting week. More questions than answers, but had a couple of devisers. One, I think, is in the other room. Gary Kitching did a week with me on it, which was brilliant. He was mostly in a dress. And we also had some experts from that sort of world. Like we had the guy who set up this thing called the Tax Justice Network, who's brilliant and fascinating, and a really old mate of mine who'd worked in the city for quite a while and been unceremoniously booted out when he had some ethical problems with some of the things he saw going on. So that was great, and for me it was great seeing a room of people that I'd invited to do this get enthusiastic about the subject matter as well, because I was thinking, it might just be me. And also what felt really exciting was looking at it from in the sort of bouffon style, which was one of the forms of theatre that we looked at while I was studying at Gaulier, and one of my favourite bits of the whole school, because they're wicked, and that there's something really refreshing and exciting about that as a motor, the mockery, but in a big, surprising, grotesque, quite physical way. And I just had a hunch that the two might fit together in an interesting way, and so it was great seeing, these experts tell these stories and me pull out bits of material that I found. And the stories are grotesque. The wealth of money is grotesque on so many levels. And then watching it being mucked about with on stage by these grotesques was really great, because you started to feel that, rather than just, I don't know, the material feels quite dry a lot of the time, and like enormous numbers that you can't really compute. And I don't know how I feel about 23 trillion pounds. But like at one point I was dressed in this massive sort of fat suit for the week, in sort of it was a bit like a baby grow, in fact. And the two guys who I was improvising with we'd sort of built this tower of sort of junk and popped me on the top of it, and it turned out that this being, whoever she is, she was horrendous. She was called Mary. It was just absolutely foul. And she got her husband was a bust of a statue next to her who she ordered about. But then I ended up just listing all the things I owned that I could see from the top of my tower. And the list got more and more extravagant, disgusting and pointless. And then at the end, when we thought we'd finished the improvisation, I was stuck at the top. Couldn't get, and there was something really, those lovely accidents you get when you're just improvising. And also seeing John and the other experts from the, who know that financial world so well, feeling that it felt right.